Hi, I'm Michael Clish, and welcome to What's Up. Our editions are available on FortAtkinsonOnline.com. Today, we're at the Dwight Foster Public Library in Fort Atkinson. And we've gathered here today to learn about the Grow Solar program available to residents in Jefferson and Waukesha counties. The program, offering educational and group buy opportunities for solar installation, is a collaboration between several groups, including Fort Atkinson's Heart of the City, the Midwest Renewable Energy Association, and the Waukesha County Green Team. During our presentation, we'll be meeting with several of the program's organizers and learn about what the program has to offer and how to get involved. With me today, Frankie Fuller, President of Heart of the City, Peter Murphy, Solar Program Director with Midwest Renewable Energy Association, and Steve Tesmer, who's considering having solar panels installed at his home. Welcome to the show. Peter, we'll start with you. Tell us, what is the Grow Solar Jefferson Waukesha program?
Sure. So Grow Solar Jefferson Waukesha is an education and group purchasing program for solar.
Keep going.
So basically what we've done is we put together a local advisory committee made up of representatives of Heart of the City, Waukesha County Green Team, MREA, and they put out a request for proposals, a competitive bid, and vetted solar installers. The idea is basically get a bunch of people to go solar at the same time, lower the price for everyone as a result. And MREA's role is to provide free upfront education to help people kind of understand what goes into going solar, what the costs are, really kind of right-size their expectations, because there's a lot of misconceptions. And the more people who go solar, the lower the price for everyone.
Peter, why did your company choose this installer?
So the advisory committee, the local advisory committee selected All Energy Solar based on a handful of things. Credentials, so they're NABCEP certified, that's the North American Board of Certified Energy Practitioners. They have master electricians on staff. They have all their own crews. They've been around for a long time. They've got competitive pricing. And so all of these things were important to the advisory committee. They selected them based on those credentials. So they're based in Minneapolis, and they have operations in Madison and in Milwaukee as well.
And Steve, you know people.
I do have a friend who has been in the solar industry for some time now, and when I started thinking about doing this, I contacted him just to get his take on it. I sent him the information I had, and he got back to me and he said the number one thing to look at is the installer. Is it somebody, did they just pick the low bidder, or is this somebody that has a local presence and they're going to be around to do support service if you ever need it? So what I'm hearing here today reassures me that you have looked at those factors also in addition to just the cost.
Frankie, why did Heart of the City think this was a good idea?
We thought it was a good idea a long time ago. One of the Heart of the City's missions is we have a Love Where You Live program, and the solar fits into that program real well. We're all concerned about the environment, and there are definite issues with climate change right now, and this was one way that we could introduce people into something small that could have a profound impact on our climate and environment.
At one point in time, this was the way of the future, but now the future's here.
Exactly.
Yeah. What does Midwest Renewable Energy Association, who are you, Peter?
Oh, we're a nonprofit that was founded in 1990. Our mission is to promote renewable energy through education and demonstration. And so what we really see is, solar is the cheapest kilowatt hour on the grid. And we see a major benefit in terms of, consumer costs, business costs, keeping those down. as well as lowering our emissions, reducing our dependence on fossil fuels, creating local jobs, keeping local money local by advancing renewable energy.
There's been a lot of interest, a lot of not just individuals, but municipalities are looking at solar energy. Some have committed to it.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
It's, as I said, it was the way of the future, but it's here now. Why is solar important? Just the basics on that.
Sure. So
Frankie's touched on that. Go ahead.
yeah, there's a number of reasons. So essentially there are a few problems with the way we buy electricity today. One is that we have no real control over price increases from the utility, right? Second, you're not gaining any equity when you're renting electricity from the utility. You're essentially renting it when you pay your bill every month. And third, there's pollution, right? So we're still getting the vast majority of our electricity on the grid from fossil fuels. So when you go solar, you mitigate or solve each one of those problems. In terms of price increases, when you buy solar, you basically are purchasing all the kilowatt hours that solar array will produce over its 25-year lifetime up front. And so you're locking in a price per kilowatt that's, for the most part, it's going to be lower than the utility. And it depends really, it's site specific, but by and large, it's going to be lower than what the utility is charging. You're building equity because you own that system. You're no longer you own all the kilowatt hours that it's producing. You're not renting from the utility anymore, and it's clean energy, right? It's not coming from fossil fuels. You've got a power plant on your home or on your property.
We're running out of fossil fuels. We have been for some time. We're not going to run out of solar energy. If we do, we'll all die anyhow. So. Steve, why are you interested?
Well, several reasons. I've been interested in solar for a while, but it just always seemed like the price of entry was too high, kind of an expensive venture to go into. And so Frankie's been doing a really good job of promoting this program, and every time I've run into her, she's, if you know anybody that's interested in solar, and she gave me some flyers to distribute also, and I thought, well, kind of read this and do a little research. So I read up on it. I thought, well, and I want to preface by, I'm just tipping my toe in the water of this. I'm really not committed to anything, but I thought, there's no downside to checking into it. It's the evaluation is free, the assessment and everything. So
safe to say there is a downside to not checking
to not
into
doing it, right? So I see it. I mean, I obviously have some questions. For one thing, I'll have to determine whether our house is well suited for a solar array. We moved, my wife and I moved in February from an old 100-plus year house, which was not very well suited for that sort of thing, to a ranch style, which I think might be better suited. It's also better insulated and that sort of thing. So I'm going to want to look at, is there like a projected payback period? In other words, I'm going to make an initial investment, I'm going to save money on my utility bill. How long before this system before it's a wash? That's of interest to me. I'm also interested in knowing what it does to my property value. This is a major upgrade as I see it, and hopefully it will improve the value of our property. And I also, it's the future. I mean, we can't rely on fossil fuels forever. And so I think any step we can take toward a renewable energy is a good thing. And it's inevitable eventually, so.
Peter, what does it do to property value?
That's a good question. So there's been a handful of studies that have come out. Most recently, Zillow, the online real estate website, did a study that found that their stat is that solar homes sell for approximately 4.1% higher than their term generation naked properties, so properties that don't have solar. That said, in Wisconsin, solar will not increase your property taxes. So even though the value of your home may go up, the property taxes won't go up as a result of solar.
You had to get to the point of going to see this. You've already looked into it considerably.
Yeah, I read the information on the web, and so yeah, I've signed up for the solar hour, and I also have made an appointment for the assessment. So I'm expecting to have a lot of my questions answered then, and I expect they'll have a lot of questions for me about our house and that sort of thing.
Indeed. Are there programs available to help with the cost of installing solar?
Yeah, so there's a couple of incentives. There's a state level incentive, the Focus on Energy rebate. It's a one-time payment of $500. It's first come, first serve. It's funded by ratepayer dollars anyway. It's part of Focus on Energy. So yeah, $500 for residential. It goes up from there for businesses. There's also a federal incentive. It's the investment tax credit, and so that's this year worth 26% of the overall cost of the array out of pocket. So you subtract the incentives that you get, and then whatever the remaining cost to you is, there's just a form on your taxes next year. You fill that out, and you get a 26% tax credit on those expenses. And then in addition to those, the group buy itself is a form of an incentive because at each of several tiers that we will collectively achieve, there's a price break. So through our competitive bid process, there's a lower price than what the selected installer would typically charge. And then once we collectively reach benchmarks of 50 kilowatts, 150 kilowatts, 250 kilowatts, and so on, there are price breaks. So the more people participate, the lower the price for everyone.
What I understand Fort Community Credit Union is offering help.
They have some low interest loans right now. Money is cheap right now generally. And
That's easy for you to say.
yeah. And they sponsored our program the last time around, and they've agreed to do it again because they think it's a good investment in the community as well.
They say it is the way to the future, the way of the future.
Yes.
Okay, good to know. This solar power hour, how does someone sign up for it? How does that work?
Sure, they can start at jeffersonwaukesha.growsolar.org. That's the program's website. From there, you can kind of see the schedule of presentations, and you just click on the link and register to attend. They last about an hour. There's a Q&A section at the end, so if we don't answer all your questions up front, you can type your questions into the chat, and we respond to them in real time, verbally. But yeah, we try to get ahead of all the questions you may have. There's, there's, like I said, there's plenty of misconceptions. We want to right-size people's expectations. A lot of the time, people think if you go solar, you're going completely off the grid. That's not the case. A lot of times, people think it's going to be way too expensive, completely unaffordable. There's a handful of financing options, including for a community credit union. So yeah, we try to give folks all the tools they need to identify if solar is right for them too.
Yeah, I got to think they're already going in knowing its value. Mm-hmm. But this is the way to find out how to do it. Mm-hmm. Okay, they go to the hour. Then what?
After that, they can sign up for a free site assessment and cost estimate from the solar installer, which, by the way, is All Energy Solar. They have operations in Madison and Milwaukee. That involves basically a phone call where they look at your property using satellites, kind of evaluate your solar opportunity, and then they write up kind of a preliminary quote for you. And then folks can digest that, think about it, and then they move on to the following stages, which is design, build, permitting, all that stuff.
Okay. If someone does install panels, I assume they still have their fossil fuel system in place just in case, or can you store up enough solar energy to?
So in the vast majority of cases, and especially in We Energy's territory, you're just going to have a second meter installed. So you're going to have a meter that's measuring your solar production, and then you're going to have your meter that's measuring how much energy you're consuming. Basically, the utility accounts for this in a billing period. So like on a monthly basis, they'll just subtract what you use from what you consume.
Yeah.
And if you overproduce, they'll give you a credit on your bill for the following month. Otherwise, you just have a lower bill due to your solar production.
Yes.
So I have an example for you. So in July of 2017, our utility bill was $137.43. And in 2021, our utility bill was $35.73. So that's just 1 month. And then in June, in 2017, it was $149.61, and in 2021, it was $79.17. Now, that doesn't happen for every month. There isn't, because I can tell you that then in January of 2017, our bill was $293.20, and in 2021, it was $313.05, so it was a little more, probably because I have a habit sometimes of leaving the TV on all night because my smart TV computer thing broke, and yeah,
You can stay.
and I think it was probably colder this last January than it was in 2017.
We are
But that's
dealing
an
with extremes. It's
example.
warmer too.
Yes.
So it's, yeah.
So
This is a time when utility bills are really getting crazy.
Can I just, a question that I have, and I'm assuming, and you can correct me, that we're, here in Wisconsin, we're going to see the biggest savings in the summer because the house we move into now has central air conditioning. So I am seeing on our bills, in the summer, my electric bill is a bit higher than it was in my other house. In the winter, obviously, we're going to be running our furnace that runs on gas, so we're not going to see savings on that. So am I correct in assuming summer is when you're really going to see the savings?
May through September, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say the biggest takeaway from the presentation is that every site is different. So your energy usage and Frankie's energy usage and your homes, they're completely different. So the site assessment and the cost estimate is really it's custom, and everything in the solar industry and in residential solar is custom.
Frankie, tell us about your experience, start to finish.
It was great. One of the nice things about going through this program is that the companies that we work with are vetted. Sometimes you don't always know whether to trust a company that you don't know if they're just in the market to make a buck or something like that and not really support the product afterwards. And that is one of the best features, I think, about this program, is that the companies get vetted, and we know that we're working with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Very important.
It is to me, and I know it is to a lot of other people. And it also has inspired us to do, like I have an electric bike now, and it's great. And we've also purchased an electric lawnmower. So it's an entry. It's something that you can build on to keep lowering your carbon footprint. And for me, that's really important.
I hadn't thought of that, but yes, I imagine after you put in solar panels, you get an electric lawnmower.
Yep. Don't have to put all that gas in the air.
I have an electric lawnmower and snowblower too, so.
Good for you. Thank
Well,
you.
there's another reason you better go to that.
Yes.
So I will see some benefit in the winter.
Yes. Exactly.
Peter, has this, I don't want to say exploded, but it seems to me that in the last couple of years, not just interest, but conversion to solar energy has increased greatly.
Yeah, we're seeing it. We're seeing it take off. It's definitely kind of past a tipping point. So we started to do these programs in the city of Milwaukee in 2013. We used to go neighborhood by neighborhood, and then since then, we've kind of taken the show on the road. We've done over 50 programs all over the Midwest, and
Jefferson, Wisconsin?
yes, part of our mission is to educate people, right? So like we go in sometimes with the full understanding that there's not going to be, it's not going to be like a massive program. Sometimes that's worth it though. It's kind of like planting the seeds. A handful of folks go solar. Their neighbors see it. It becomes normalized, right? It's like you said, it's this future technology. It's happening today. It's very much accessible today, and we're trying to help people understand that and kind of see if it's right for them.
Solar energy. We'll have to do this again in the not too distant future and get an update. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Unable to attend our panel discussion, Sonia and Jeremy Bayerlein live in Waukesha County and will be participating in the Grow Solar Group Buy program. After considering the advantages of solar energy for several years, the couple said they have noticed recent improvements in solar technology and efficiency and saw an opportunity for a tax credit, signaling to them now might be a good time to jump into solar. They are also concerned about the environment and see solar as a way to teach their children about being good stewards of the earth while reducing their reliance on non-renewable fuel sources. The couple said they chose the Group Buy program because they were impressed with the competitive pricing and quality work product of All Energy Solar.
We hope you've enjoyed this edition of What's Up. I'm Michael Clish. Remember to visit the Jefferson Waukesha Grow Solar Organization website to sign up for one of the free educational solar power hours, all of which are offered through Zoom. Thanks for watching.